All right. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. It is Friday morning, the 13th of September. Friday the 13th. Spooky. Anyway, good morning to you. I'm Wesh 2, first warning meteorologist Eric Burris. This is Coffee Talk. We get together 7 days a week, chat about what's going on in the world of weather, hopefully get your day started off on the right note, chat about the forecast, chat about the tropics, and do so in a non-hype way. Okay, if you're new to the Coffee Talk environment, we try to get you updated and answer questions and get you just comfortable with our forecast, both locally and the tropics. Let's start off this morning, and it's beautiful over at Port Canaveral. There's a live shot. Look at that sun shining. Kind of wouldn't mind being out that direction. It's a lovely morning. I need a sip of coffee. Rise and shine, friends. Look at that. Kennedy Space Center looking good. Couple of clouds over the vehicle assembly building. Let's head up to New Smyrna Beach. See what's doing there. Oh, a little bit of fog out there, huh? A little hazy, a little spooky. A little spooky. Let's look over at the Orlando International Airport. Looking beautiful there. Let's head over to the tourist district. Let's see how we're doing over here. Okay, Epcot looking good. Downtown Orlando checking in on you. Yeah, you're pretty. Let's head over to the West 2 Studios Tower Cam. A little bit of haze. To Varies, let's see how you're looking this morning. Just kind of bopping around our Tower Cam network. You see some low clouds. We're looking over toward Mount Dora here across Lake Dora. Some low cloudiness. And there's a lot more low cloudiness and even fog when we come up to our Marion County Tower Cam, particularly here off in the distance, right? It's not in the downtown, but it's just after, just beyond that we're dealing with that. So that's where we're at, my friends. We do have dense fog advisories in effect for North Florida. Thankfully, not the case for us. Here's a look at the visibility numbers around town, and you can see Ocala sitting there at about 5/10 of a mile. So there you go, kind of in that ballpark there. Dense fog advisories in effect just north of our area. Putnam, though, inland St. Johns County included in that. So we've got a little bit of that to deal with. Not a huge concern. Okay. All right. Hold on one second. September 20th. Just taking a second to, what is this? Friday, September 20th. We could do 9:30. I'm doing the iPhone order thing. I'll pick up. Eric Burris. That's me. That's me. Continue to review. That's good. One second. Okay. Perfect. All right. Had to order the iPhone. I'm on the upgrade program, so it just is what it is. All right. Anyway, dense fog to the north of us. But we're a bit quieter in terms of rainfall this morning than we have been, right? Here's a look at our live first warning Doppler radar. There are some showers out west of us, right? Let me tap into our Tampa radar, and there's plenty more where that came from. And it's not that our radar isn't as good. It's just, remember, we've got our radar really focused in on Central Florida and our coverage area, but it's all about using the nearest radar, and the Tampa radar is certainly closer to all this stuff. But there's a lot of stormy weather out there over the Gulf of Mexico, and guess what? All of that stormy weather will be working our direction here over the course of the day today. So yeah, we're going to deal with another decent coverage of showers and storms. Temperatures out the door, mid to upper 70s. Forecast today brings us to the lower 90s. And the Earth is round, right? There's also the curvature of the Earth thing. That's also a thing. So for today, couple of showers here or there through 9 a.m. Notice 11 a.m. 20%, 1 p.m. 30%, and then we get up to a 50% coverage of storms 3, 4, 5 p.m. So yeah, we do have those storms around later this afternoon, which does impact high school football. All right, I think for kickoff, there may be some showers, but things are going to be looking better and better and better gradually through the evening. So at least there's that. Now, as far as Futurecast goes, Let's dial it up here. Here's our live Futurecast model data. All right, 8 a.m. We've got the clouds. Watch 9, 10. You see those storms marching in from the west. And then by 2, 3, 4, interesting that future. Oh my God, how funny. Futurecast, interesting. Love that. All right, so Futurecast completely killing it. I don't know that I agree with that. Let's look at the her model. Mm-mm-mm. Okay, all right. Let's load up the her model here. I'm just curious as to the difference here. All right. So here's the her model. Bringing in the rain. And okay, that is way more believable. Okay. I know what Futurecast is doing. Here we go. So there you go. Rain's coming in around the western areas, 12, 1, 2 o'clock. It doesn't look like there's anything intense, but we will have scattered showers 4, 5, 6, 7 o'clock. And then kind of clearing out 8, 9, 10 o'clock. So that's, yeah, I think that the high resolution rapid refresh model has a much better handle on today's rain. Futurecast, like, why are we just, does Futurecast, see, there are moments where I'm like, as good of a model as it is, there's sometimes like, where I just don't get it. Namely because, like, it's not like we're dry atmospherically. Dew points are in the upper 70s, for goodness sake. So I don't know where Futurecast is like, I give up, there's no moisture. But okay, I digress. 'Tis what it is. So that's where we're at today. Okay. That said, there is some drier air that will be moving in eventually. All right. For tomorrow, storm system around. Francine's remnants will be well north. But watch this area of low pressure off of the southeastern United States coast, because what ends up happening is it ends up twisting around the winds enough that we may be able to pull in some drier air. Not a significantly dry, not like lower humidity, cooler air, but just a little bit. So Saturday, keeping with those storms, but by Sunday, as we start to shift in some drier air, we're going to be able to get that storm chance down just a little bit. So we'll see how, the long track of it all is. But when we look to the 7-day forecast here, 7-day AM, when we look to the 7-day forecast here, you'll see that definitive drop in rain coverage for like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It's not significant, but it's noticeable enough. We just kind of get back into a decent spot there. All right. So that's kind of where we're at. Yeah. Yukon says 2 years ago, the lows in Melbourne were in the lower 70s. I'm not sure we've hit 75 or lower in months. I mean, I could check that, but probably not. This has been a kind of disgusting, humid summer. Yeah. Good times. Love that. All right. So, questions, comments, concerns about our local forecast? Michael's asking, does rainy season usually go this long? That's a good question. So, rainy season, let's talk about it. Starts about mid-May and continues typically through about mid-October. All right, so we head into the dry season, and usually we get that started about mid-October when those daily sea breeze storms end. Obviously, we're not there yet. When the cold fronts start and the dry air starts, and certainly we're not there. So, good times. Good times. The earliest onset of the dry season is late September. The latest is in November. So I don't think it's going to be among the earliest. I'll tell you that for free. All right. So that's kind of where we're at. All right. We'll watch. We'll see how, the next few weeks play out. But again, 7-day forecast, pretty clear on this idea that it is not going to be dry. Good times. Yeah. Victoria says, can't wait for a good cold front. You and me both. Now, I'm curious just to look. If I do this, hold on. I'm going to hit the old scrape button. All right. So this is the national blend of models, but I would like to take it to the GFS daily high and low. So there's the GFS raw model data, and take it with a grain of salt, but like that's at least giving you an idea of temperatures over the next few weeks, and it's hinting. It's not really saying much more than that, but it's hinting at some opportunities for not blasting heat, right? Like, don't hold your breath on anything, but like, what is that September 23rd high of 79? Don't know that I buy that. But like the 25th, 26th, that's probably, the models are showing some pretty good rains in that window. So, yeah, don't hold your breath. Michael's like 79. Take a mental note as to September 23rd, 25th, 26th, and we will see why those temperatures are that way. Because I'm here to tell you, I suspect that the computer models are showing a whole bunch of moisture in that window. So let's do this. Let's look at said computer model. This is the GFS. That's the same model we were looking at those temperatures. And, well, even before we get to that, let's just check out and see, before we even get to that, let's just go to the tropics and see what's doing. All right, let's not put the cart before the horse here. All right, of course, we still have essentially the remnants of Francine. Let's go to that first. All right, so there's the remnants of Francine, low, kind of through northeast Arkansas, heading up toward Missouri, not a tropical thing. All right, so there's that. There are a couple of areas that we are watching in the Atlantic. First area, we'll watch off the southeastern United States coastline, a 30% likelihood of tropical development over the next 7 days' time. All right, and then out in the Atlantic / the Caribbean, watching this area near the northern Caribbean islands here, with a low end 20% chance of development. So, all right, so that's kind of where we are tropically. Now we can look to the models and get an idea of what's ahead. All right. All right. So there's Francine. Look off the southeast United States coast right there. 17th, you've got that area of low pressure developing. That'll grab and drop down some lowered humidity. So next week, that's why we're not lowered humidity, but rather drier air. So we'll be drying out. Humidity doesn't really look like it's changing, but it'll drag in some drier air atmospherically. Okay? Then that moves ashore. But that 18th, there's the, when were the days that the GFS model was saying there was cooler air? It was the 23rd. All right, so let's keep going to the 23rd and just see. 19th, 21st, big sloppy low over Florida. 22nd, sloppy low pressure. 23rd, area of low pressure developing like off of our east coast and then lifting to the north. Sloppy, low pressure, that's rain, that's crappy weather. Awesome. Love that for us. And then the 25th, 26th, something like that, that's the Debbie part of the pattern. Big surprise, we're finding an area of low pressure in that spot. And then high pressure builds in for my cruise. Perfect. All right, so that's the GFS. Over to the European. The European not developing that area of low pressure off the southeastern United States coast much. There it goes. Okay, there it is. Around the 18th. Frankie, you're a putz. And then sloppy low pressure around like the 22nd. Like more rain for Central Florida. Love that. Central Florida, South Florida, like just a sloppy, nasty setup. 26th. And then back around the 27th to 28th, the European wants to get just crummy weather into the Gulf of Mexico, which is a little more in line with what it was all saying yesterday. The European AI model. There's that area of low pressure off the southeast United States coast. Right there. 25th, 26th. Where are you going, AI? I would suspect that this should want to shift into the Gulf of Mexico, given the kind of long range cycling of it. But, there's that. So, yeah, I mean, we know that the pattern that we're heading into is absolutely favorable for tropical development. And to that point, let's pause from this. We'll look at the ensembles in a minute, but that brings me to another thought, which is the Madden-Julian oscillation. We look at this a lot, okay? And essentially, when you are in phase in the Pacific, you are not in phase in the Atlantic. And conversely, if you're in phase in the Atlantic, you're not in phase. So right now, you can see a bunch of green out there in the Pacific, not a bunch of green bias. Now, there's some green out in the open Atlantic. So let's do this. Let's bring this back closer to the Atlantic basin. And let's just look at, you see the Gulf, the Caribbean, not really in phase. That's September 20th. Watch what happens, though, here. Okay? Toward the end of the period, like right in here, September 28th, the browns have gone away. Like, look at where we're at now. A lot of brown. Look at where it's headed. It's not going like full optimal, but we're definitely heading that direction, right? So I would say again, like late September, we go into a bit more phase, which means that the tropics should start to dial up just a little bit. That's the advantage of using tools, just like our long range forecasting uses the LRC, among other things. The MJO is another thing that we look at. Okay, all right. So let's switch over to the ensembles. If you're new to Coffee Talk, there's about 1,000 people watching us this morning, and to that point, I would simply say if you're new to this, we do a deep dive. So thanks for hanging out, nerd. Pressure, all members. Okay, so when we look at the ensembles, this is the GFS. There are 30 different ensemble members, and you can look at each one individually, and you can see, like, let's just back it up. Like, you can see some of them with green and some of them with not green. So some of those model ensemble plots are showing big storms. But it's a little more difficult if you're looking at it like this way, right? It's like, well, ensemble number 21. So what instead we can do is we put them all on top of each other, and it just gives us a better look. So going through time, you start to see some ensemble agreement with stuff off the southeast United States coast around the 17th, right? Like South Carolina, North Carolina. Right? Okay. All right. Continuing through time. Definitely some support there for something around South Florida. Yeah, right there. Right? There's definitely several ensembles showing something around the 23rd, 24th, 25th. So I would like that timeline. I don't like the idea of stuff around us, but, selfishly, I have a cruise on the 28th. So, like, please work out for me. Okay. All right, so that's the GFS ensemble. Let's go back and check out the European ensemble. Support for something developing there off of the South Carolina, North Carolina coastline. And look at that. I mean, there's pretty significant ensemble support. The Europeans a little bit later with this, like, late September Gulf feature. Booze cruise. I don't drink. I don't think there's any booze cruise for me. Yeah, I don't drink alcohol. So there's that. So I would say we'll absolutely need to watch the Gulf Caribbean region around September 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th, that kind of time frame. Canadian ensemble. We'll go here because why not? All right, so we've got some support for something off the southeast coast. And then yeah, look at how the 23rd. So the Canadian kind of splits the difference. Half of the Canadian members are showing that 23rd, 24th time frame, and then half of the Canadian members are kind of showing that 27th, 28th time frame. So the Canadians are trying to kind of be like, no, the GFS is okay and the Euro's okay. We don't really want to pick one. It literally looks like half and half there. So um, hurricane season's not over. Very much still have plenty to track, plenty of time to track, plenty of things to track. So just a good reminder, like we're not done, and we're going to continue to need to be watching things. Okay, does that sound good? Questions, comments, concerns, anything? Let's see here. Oh, Matt says update from yesterday. Switch to Python, automatically scans HERDAT2 data for changes, downloads only updated files since last scan, parsed into formatted CSV, full audit, and debugging logs. I'm stuck on event triggers like spawn invest not being ingested correctly to trigger. See, if we can do something like this, Matt. So, okay. See, Matt, we need to talk. I pay money to do this. If you can help write some code. But is it HERDAT2 data? I thought it was HERDAT2, I thought was the seasonal updates that come out in the spring. I thought HERDAT1 was the live updating, but it is what. We need to talk offline. We absolutely need to talk offline. I need to learn. Kev says I emailed you Python script to monitor. Yeah, we need to. Kev, did you? I saw it, but I didn't get a chance to read it. Yeah, I need to. It's not that $10 a month is going to like kill me, but like if I could save $10 a month and run this Python at home, you know? Elliot says, did a quick look at weather for the UCF game. Looks like nothing to write home about for tomorrow's game at TCU in Fort Worth. Hot and muggy, typical Florida. Yes, yes, yes. Which I've been working on our new graphics package stuff. So it just occurred to me like we didn't put that together yet because it's not local. So I'll be doing that today. But since we're talking college football, the forecasts that are done, and again, I've been working on the new graphic stuff, so there's that. Saturday, Texas. This is going to be something. Aside from that, though, aside from bias on the game itself, watching for showers and thunder showers for the game. FSU Saturday game, Memphis coming to town. Tailgating looks good, but kickoff gets into thunderstorms. So yeah, and then yeah, for Dallas Fort Worth, for the TCU UCF game, yeah, yeah. Forecast is thankfully nothing crazy. All right. Questions, comments, concerns. Excuse me. Yes, William, my football team is playing, and we were just discussing that. Nothing crazy. Very much normal. Very much normal Central Florida weather. All right. Questions, comments, concerns, anything. So we looked at the tropics. We got stuff to watch in the tropics. 7-day forecast. Thankfully, dropping that rain chance just a little bit for next week. Right? Oh, Yukon. Or I'm investing $10 a month into making sure that I get you the latest information second by second. It's up to you to twist it how you want to twist it. All right. Let's go UCF from DFW and a Texas Tech alum. Can't stand TCU. That's funny. Oh, man. Too funny. Too funny. When is the peak of hurricane season? 3 days ago. We're still kind of, we're still kind of in that peak though. All right. All right. So let's look at I don't even want to pull out this. I'm going to throw out this run of Futurecast. Let's look at the extended high resolution rapid refresh for this weekend. I'm going to go ahead and call it that this run of Futurecast is trash. Kelly says, go team that isn't UCF. I would expect just nothing less from you. All right. Okay, so here's the extended high resolution rapid refresh model. So for today, bringing those storms in late in the day, yeah. We looked at the hourly high resolution rapid refresh. This is the extended, so this runs every 3 hours, I believe. So, all right, so 3, we're getting to scattered showers and storms. 4, 5, widespread rains. 6, 7, 8 o'clock widespread rains tonight, and then tapering off overnight. Let's look at tomorrow. Morning's looking good. Clouds around. Lunchtime, 1, 2 o'clock, some storms bubbling up, and then widespread late day storms tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow evening. And the herd doesn't go any further, so that's where you're at there. All right. Oh, that'll be fun to watch. I'll watch that one. All right. Anything else? Questions, comments, concerns? Anything? Patty says, I give up. Too crowded for me to answer about rain for kids football on Saturday morning in Flagler. No, I literally just did Futurecast for you, Patty. I literally just did that. Tomorrow morning looks good. Yeah. I got you, Patty. I got you covered. Don't you worry. Don't you worry about a thing. Oh, see, I can't sing anymore. The copyright police will pow pow. All right. Anything else? Questions, comments, concerns? Anything? Anything at all? Oh, Matt, we can work that out. Anything else? Faith is asking, we check the water vapor for the coming week. Yes. Sure. All right. GFS model. All the green over Florida. All right. Well, somebody's got the wide view because they were looking tropics. Let's zoom this in. All right. Rough and dirty, but it works. Lots of moisture through Saturday afternoon. And then there's that little ribbon of dry air sneaking in Sunday. And then some of the moisture encroaches in. There's Monday, Tuesday, but there's a definitive shift, right? Like remember, this is also halfway up the atmosphere. So that doesn't mean that we're going to go low humidity, but at least halfway up the atmosphere, there's drier air about. Look at that. The 20th, super dry air. And then into the 21st, we know we've seen the model, like a bunch of tropical moisture moves back in. So there's going to be a pattern shift. At least we've got that going for us. All right. Everything else good? All right. Today, I'll see you on Wesh 2 News at noon and at 4. Sound good? If someone is using this map live on TV and you change it like you did, does it change for broadcast too? Only if I click save. And yeah, so for me, I'm not saving anything. I'm just futzing around. And if I do save, I'm saving as, and I'm saving it as another non-TV file. I have this whole repository of just random stuff I've put together for Coffee Talk. A ton of graphics. Yeah. So anyway. All right. All right. Be the sunshine in someone else's day, y'all. Thank you so much for hanging out for Coffee Talk. Hope you have a great Friday morning. I'll see you on Wesh 2 News at noon and at 4. Bye.